for coming. It's always fun to be here in Park Rapids. My mother went to school over here in Pt1, a horse and buggy back in the day. I got a bunch of grandkids, and they're always coming up here to compete with the kids from Park Rapids and vice versa. So I've gotten up here to a lot of basketball games and golf tournaments and all the rest. I see some friends who had me out helping blaze the part of the North American Trail out here, and we're still working to get the last a few miles of that thing completed. And I've got a whole lot of, yeah, I am, you know. I got more Republicans on my bill than I have Democrats, and but Bob Gibbs he's the chairman of that committee. He's kind of an ornery guy, you know? And I keep pressing him, and I'm not giving up. And I've got Eric Paulson and all my Republican friends pressing him and saying, "Look, it's not going to cost us any money. I know the people that know how to build this trail for nothing. And I'll probably end up having to do some of the work on it." So we're working on that, and. So as some of you may have seen, I'm actually pretty good at getting some things done, which is maybe not saying a whole lot in the most unproductive Congress in the history of the country. But I don't know if you saw that several universities did a study here recently on effectiveness in the Congress, and doggone if they didn't find a kid, a paper boy, and a wild rice picker, and maple syrup harvester from north central Minnesota as being one of the 10 most effective members of the Congress. Number 2 among all the Democrats, and number 1 in the Minnesota congressional delegation. So, and for those of you who are Republicans here in the audience, and I trust you, I had a Republican partner on everything. So, you know, when you're just a young fellow in the minority, you got to find some Republicans to work with if you're going to get anything done, and I spend a lot of time doing that. So over the past several years now, you know, I've had a lot of young people come to me and say, you know, is there going to be money left in this Social Security fund when I get to be 60? I've had seniors question how come there haven't been any cost of living increases. Is the fund going to be there for my spouse and me? You know, if we happen to live long enough. And what is it about these various proposals that are being advanced to increase the age at which one qualifies, or privatize Social Security by turning that over to the brokerage houses, or privatize Medicare, turning that back over to the insurance companies. And you know, those are proposals that are being advanced, and so therefore they're, by virtue of being advanced, they're being considered, and there are forces, powerful forces, you know, advocating for those things. So we thought it'd be very appropriate for us to examine, you know, what all these proposals are and what they might mean. So I had occasion to witness a presentation by the Citizens Federation, which is a private, nonprofit, nonpartisan group that spent a lot of time studying all of these issues. And I found it very informative for me, and it occurred to me that the rest of the community might find it informative for them as well. And I got to tell you, I've heard it several times now, but every time I learn something new. And so I've asked, you know, their Buddy Robinson, who spent a lot of volunteer time, you know, pulling together the facts and information and the myths and what have you, to give us an assessment. So if it's all right, we'll get started, and we'll call on him, and then he'll be available to answer any questions that any of you might have. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. We'll welcome, any statements that you'd like to express. And but before we do get started, I want to tell you that I do come into it myself with a little bit of a preconceived notion, and that is this. I do not like the use of the term entitlements with regard to Social Security and Medicare, and I'll tell you why. The term entitlements has become, rightly or wrongly, and we could use that as a subject for another meeting, but they become associated with benefits that people didn't pay for, that they didn't earn, that perhaps they're not entitled to, and people looking for some kind of a handout or a free deal. And so when they talk about reforming the entitlements of Social Security and Medicare, I don't like that one bit. And in my mind, they are earned benefits, particularly when you're talking about the current definition of what an entitlement is. Social Security and Medicare are things that we all started paying for the first hour, the first day that we ever went to work. So it's not like someone's asking for something that for nothing. I mean, those are earned benefits that people pay for. And so in my judgment, they have every right to expect them. And that doesn't mean, like everything in life, from time to time they may need some fixing. But that opens up another, larger question. How do you want to go about fixing things? And that's what the Citizens Foundation has done quite a good job of analyzing and raising the questions. So with that, please welcome Mr. Buddy Robinson, who's with the Citizens Federation. Give him a nice hand.